Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 137 of Hobby Quick Hits. We're at the halfway point of the NFL season. It's painful for me as a Steeler fan. Our season pretty much is over, but the music continues for everyone else. So we're at the midway point. My memory served me correctly. We did this last year, kind of a halfway point scouting report, hobby report, and who's doing well, who's not, and relating it not in a fantasy sense, although everything's connected in some form or fashion, but a hobby sense, right? Who's stock up, stock down, that sort of thing. My personal opinions on certain guys, maybe even some that are doing well, but I'm just not long-term believer. So I'll interject some personal feelings, as I sometimes do. So that's what this episode's going to be all about, along with our, what products coming out. We'll Max from the sports card shop at Moco, who does a great job when he does it, is going to do it. And then we're going to get into a Q&A. Got a question this week. And our news of the week. We got some stories for sure this week. And then we'll dive right into, the hobby midterm. But first, let's hear from our great sponsor, Mojo Break, and then we'll get this show underway.
MojoBreakShop.com is the best place to get your sealed wax products and brakes. They not only have the best selection, but the best prices. Whether it's a box or a whole case, they are your guys. They ship worldwide to your doorstep. Their reputation as one of the most trusted in the hobby goes unmatched. They are the 2021 Topps Rip Party Champion Breakers. From sports card to Pokemon cards, their selection can't be beat. They offer daily deals and pre-orders.
Hey guys, John Newman here. Mojo's prices are already great, but to save an additional 10% off anything in their store, use the code QUICKHITS. That's QUICKHITS. Check out the full-service store that's open 7 days a week in Santa Clara, California, or the website at mojobreak.com.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hi guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan, and I'm going to bring you guys the weekly releases for this week. I hope you guys are having a great week and enjoying this podcast. And I'm going to start you guys off with, on the 9th, we have 2022 Leaf Stitches and Slabs Basketball, 2022 Panini Prism World Cup Soccer, and 2022-23 Upper Deck Series 1 Hockey. And that is the releases for this week. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a nice day.
Time for the segment where you ask me a question and I answer it here on the podcast.
Today's question comes from our website email from Mike, no last name, and he asked, John, in your honest opinion, what is your hobby strength? Never really thought about it. Like to think I have more than one, I hope. I think I communicate well. I think I care. I know I'm passionate. As far as maybe a skill, an actual skill, I have a knack for probably finding like a decent raw card and getting it graded and, in a sense, getting good ROI. So I'll buy a card, send it in for grading, it'll grade well, and then, whether it's a PC card or I do sell it, I do well for what I paid for and what the value becomes after grading. So I've done that, a long time. So I hope I would be good at it at this point. I've had a lot of practice, right? So I didn't give you one thing, I gave you multiple things, but there you go.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
right, got no huge stories, but we do have some news this week starting on the auction front. Memory Lane Auctions has some big guns in their current auction, which is going to be November 12th to December 3rd. For the first time in 4.5 years, I know this sounds crazy to me, but it's true. For the first time in 4.5 years, a PSA 9 51 Bowman Mantle rookie will hit the auction block. Yes, the 51 Bowman is the rookie, not the 52 Topps. But one hasn't hit the auction blocks in 4.5 years. The last one sold for $750K in 2018. So here's your chance to get the next one on the block, estimated to clear 7 figures. Also, 41 different Hall of Famers from the 1933 Gowdy set are on the auction block as well, with the worst condition being a PSA 8. So none less graded than PSA 8. 41 1933 Gowdy Hall of Famers. So some big cards in the Memory Lane auctions. Starts on the 12th, ends on December 3rd. Get your bids in there. Get out your wallets and your checkbooks and your purses. There's going to be some big guns coming out of that auction. All right, we just had Nat Turner from the CEO of Collectors / PSA on Sports Card Nation. Check that episode out if you haven't yet. And some staff movement there. Kevin Lanane has now become VP of Sales and will head east to New Jersey. Ryan Hoge will become president, or Hoge, H-O-G-E. Want to make sure I get that right. He becomes the new president. He will move from Seattle to Southern California. And Aris Horn will head up the production line. And so there you go. Some movement there. And then another story that kind of broke after I had Nat on was, a graded order that he put in. He loves his 90s basketball inserts, as many do, and rightfully so. A 90s insert Triumvirate MJ, graded a 10, and it's got a noticeable piece of the foil missing, and a lot of people are up in arms, and I understand it. I get it. But, and again, this happened after our conversation, but, I'm going to sound a little bit like a lawyer here, but there's potential that happened maybe during the grading process. He just posted a picture on a social media. Is it possible that flaked off inside the PSA cases? If you listen to the interview we just had with Nat, there's some new PSA cases coming in December. So, what I'd like to see I'd like to see him acknowledge it and get it obviously regraded and post that if people are asking me what I thought of it. I think that's the right thing to do. So to be determined there. Speaking of grading, let's stay in that. Mike Baker of Baker Authentication has partnered with PWCC to certify raw cards, much like the eBay authentication that they do. Mike Baker's going to do it for PWCC. Cards can be valued anywhere from $25 all the way to past $10K. It's a $6 fee per card. However, if you keep the card in the PWCC vault and transact it on the PWCC platform, it's only a $3 per card charge. So pretty low. This is not a grading as much as it's an authentication of a raw ungraded card, that it is legit, real, and authentic. So Mike Baker and PWCC teaming up there for that. Also, one note to add there that I forgot to mention, he will be utilizing a heat map service. So it will show sort of maybe where some wear and tear is on the card. I'm not familiar with how that works, but that's my assessment of it. Right, straight-o-matic baseball game I used to play a ton as a kid, where you can match up with using cards and dice. I don't know if it's changed over the years. It's been many moons since I played it, but I used to play it a lot with my friends. Well, it's going to come back in a different way. They are teaming up with the Negro League Baseball Museum, and they're making a, Negro League edition along with the Major League. So, in other words, you can never have like Josh Gibson face Sandy Koufax in the old version, but you will be able to do that now with the new edition. There are also going to be picture cards, I believe, involved with this game, limited edition cards. That'll be cool. I'd be interested in acquiring maybe more of those than the whole game itself. I don't know how they're going to tie that in. And, of course, through the museum, there's going to be an NFT function and attachment with it as well. So it's going to be the modern edition of Straight-O-Matic Baseball, a game near and dear to my heart, where now any players can match up where before that wasn't possible. So I'm not sure when to start looking for that, but just keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. There's going to be some cards related to that and NFTs as well.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, we're going to make this as rapid fire as I can because I want to cover the whole NFL. I'm going to go hopefully by division. I may skip around here and there, but kind of mention players from almost every team, kind of a stock up, stock down, maybe who are good buys, maybe who are time to sell. It's kind of like a buy, sell, hold, but more of a rapid fire. Let's start in the AFC East. Josh Allen is the real deal. I know he just had a bad game versus the Jets. He don't have too many of those anymore. I think the verdict is in, and his stuff's already up there card-wise. So if you can find a diamond in the rough, good luck. The Jets are back, it looks like, and they got a couple young guys on their team I'm believers in. Breece Hall, the running back, although we know hobby-wise running backs are definitely a risky proposition, so take what you will from that. But more importantly, they've got a receiver for the first time, a legit one, in my opinion, in the first time in a long time, in Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. And his cards, for what I think, as good as I think he is, his cards are still, there's some steals and deals to be had there. I don't care what anyone says, Tua is the real deal. All right, he is an elite level quarterback when healthy. That's always going to be the question with Tua and the concussions and the hip. But when he plays, the Dolphins win, and he puts up elite numbers. Don't take my word for it. Check for yourself. So there's a lot of deals to be had on the Tua level because people are not buying in yet. So there's opportunities to be had to buy some cards there. The Patriots, the Bailey Zappi era, it's a great story. He's going to be in the league for a while, but probably just sort of a backup quarterback. Mac Jones, I'm not as high on him as I am some other people are. Ramondre Stevenson, we all know how Bill Belichick handles running backs, so tread lightly there. Let's go to AFC North, my favorite team's division. Let's start with the Steelers and get it out of the way. Terrible year, but the best receiver in the draft was taken by them. They just got to get a coaching staff that knows how to call plays. See you later, Matt Canada, as fast as we can get him out of town, but that's not happened yet. George Pickens is legitimately the real deal, and he's if you like receivers, and we've seen receivers cards kind of make a trend up, he's still more people are know about him, kind of the secret's out, cat's out of the bag, but he is legit, and there's probably some steals to be had there. Joe Burrow, I love him. It's just sad that he beats my Steelers now twice a year. He's legit. Me and my son argue this, but my son doesn't like him as much as I do. Joe Burrow's legit. He's got great receivers there in Chase, Boyd, and Higgins, and he's just a solid winning type quarterback that will put up numbers. Ravens wise, we'll see how the contract negotiations play out, but I think Lamar Jackson has each year sort of made himself a better quarterback. Let's go to the South. Titans, Derrick Henry, one of the few running backs, if you have some rookie cards and autos and RPAs, he's rewarding you, right? Running backs traditionally don't necessarily do that. The other guy I like for running back is now hurt, and that's Jonathan Taylor. And the problem with JT, he's a great running back, but he's got a lot of tread on his tire from Wisconsin days. And so I'm really a little bit lukewarmer on him. Listen, Jacksonville is going in the right direction. They got a real coach now in Doug Peterson, and Trevor Lawrence has steadily improved. He's not where he's got to be yet. I'm still a believer in Trevor Lawrence, where a lot of other people have got off that bus. I'm still on the bus and riding it, and it looks like Travis Etienne is starting to figure out the NFL, and that combination could start to pay real dividends there. Davis Mills in Houston, serviceable, but save your money there when it comes to cards. Let's go to the AFC West. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, what it needs to be said. Probably the best quarterback in the NFL. That if you don't have any of his stuff, it may be too late. Let's go to Chargers. Justin Herbert. I can't figure this team out, but Justin Herbert continues to perform well. But because of the team struggles a little bit, sometimes there are deals to be had on Justin there. Take a flyer. Has anyone had a bigger fall from grace than Russell Wilson? The Denver trade did not do wonders for him. He's been mocked and ridiculed, and he's not playing very well. And so, it's funny. I was just thinking about my own personal experience. I wound up not recently, last year, while I was still in Seattle, I sold a lot of my Russell Wilson rookie stash. And not because I thought this was going to happen. I just did, and looks like it's good timing there. If you believe that a bounce back can be possible, probably a great time to buy. His stuff is stocked down. So if you believe in Russell Wilson that he can return to sort of that level he was viewed at as an elite quarterback, then now's your chance to get in at the lower levels. Let's go to the NFC. Jalen Hurts. I don't know where this is coming from. Truth be told, I wasn't a believer, but it's hard to argue. The numbers are there. He's whatever he's done, studied film, training, he's legit. Micah Parsons, probably arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, and sort of changing the way the hobby looks at defensive players, right? He's become collectible, buyable, very young too, so he's got, barring injury again, got a long career ahead of him. TJ Watt, too, another defensive guy you've got to look at with prices being so low. Problem with TJ Scott, he's another guy who's got to stay on the field. Saquon Barkley is back. One of my favorite non-Steeler players. I own a lot of Saquon stuff, kind of breaking that running back rule. Don't invest in running backs. But he's legit when healthy, right? Those two football words we're all very familiar with, right? When healthy. But Saquon, and again, might be a great time. If you think Saquon is back like I do, it's a great time maybe to get in on some cards. Although at week 8 here, I think the cat's a little bit out of the bag too. Let's go to Washington, the Commanders. That's even fun. It's weird to say, not the Redskins anymore, right? The best receiver no one knows about plays in Washington. From Ohio State, Terry McLaurin, right? Not flashy, not Justin Jefferson type numbers all the time, but the guy just produces. It's an opportunity there. If you believe like he's going to produce that for the long term, or maybe wind up on another team and bump up some of those numbers when it gets maybe a more stable quarterback situation, great time to put some money into some Terry McLaurin cards. I mentioned Justin Jefferson, arguably one of the best players in the NFL. People always say, who's going to be the next Jerry Rice? They're probably not going to be the next Jerry Rice. So we talk about who's the next best thing after Jerry Rice. Justin Jefferson is throwing his name in that hat. I believe in Justin Jefferson. He's sort of, I'm not saying he's not a little diva. Most receivers are, but I think he goes about his business the right way and just plays. Aaron Rodgers took $50 million, and the Packers could not get him help, and his stats are starting to fall off. He's starting to look his age. Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt, and maybe it's an opportunity to buy some cards right now because not playing very well. 3 picks this past week, and going to be in the Hall of Fame, so maybe if he can get in low and pay off down the line. Justin Field with the Bears, I think he's going to be known more as a runner. Just set the rushing record for a quarterback in a game. I'm not sold on his accuracy, and I just don't know. I don't trust how the Bears are necessarily using him. It might have to happen somewhere else. He's talented. You cannot argue with the talent. I don't know if he can put it all together. He sort of reminds me of a poor man's Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson has steadily improved his game. So if Justin can do that, we can talk along those lines. Remember the cautionary tale of running backs, right? A guy I love, and I still like him, but, sort of the blooms off the rose, right? DeAndre Swift. A couple injuries here and there, and just sort of an afterthought. Again, when it comes to hobby love, be careful with running backs. Very few last the long haul. I think Derrick Henry will be one. I think Jonathan Taylor, if he can beat the injury bug, can too. And then another guy that I absolutely love on the West Coast in Seattle, Kenneth Taylor, believe the third running back for the Seahawks. Again, I keep talking about be careful with running backs, but I'm really sold on Kenneth Taylor. He's legit, hard to bring down, hard runner, consistent, and he's doing this as a rookie, and it's scary to think what he potentially could be as he steadily improves. Got to talk about Tom Brady, right? Can't do one of these kind of stock up, stock down shows without talking about Tom, right? Not having a great year, just let a comeback victory yesterday, but overall I think some of his personal problems, his pending divorce has, hurt his play. Age, right? Father time eventually catches up with all of us, and I think it's starting to catch up with Mr. Brady. But you cannot take 7 rings away. You cannot, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time and easily first ballot Hall of Famer and NFL legend. And if people are starting to lower their Brady prices because of, lesser stats, there's an opportunity maybe to stash some Bradys and wait till Hall of Fame induction announcements when his day and his name gets called. The Falcons, I like the receiver Drake London, but Marcus Mariota is terrible. A journeyman backup quarterback. If the Falcons can get some stability in the offense and with a quarterback, I really like Drake London long term, much like George Pickens in Pittsburgh. But so much is going to hinge on who's throwing him the ball. So I don't know if it's going to happen in Atlanta or you're going to have to kind of wait. But that slow start by Drake London's a great opportunity to buy some Drake Londons at a lower price, let's just say. Geno Smith playing great, but he's not no young spring chicken anymore. I think it's a little bit too late to, card-wise and hobby-wise to do much there. Kyler Murray, I wasn't in on him from the beginning. he proved me wrong early. It was looking like elite. Now he's, sort of playing more kind of that mid-tier range. Maybe that's more who he's like. So I don't think he's as bad as I made him out to be. I also don't think he's as good as some people makes him out to be. I think he's somewhere in the middle. Tread lightly there, to be very honest, right? Trey Lance in the 49ers. I know he's hurt, not playing. The jury's going to be out on them, and they've got a conundrum there. I'm hearing, obviously they don't love Jimmy G, and they really are starting to wonder if Trey Lance is going to be that guy. So maybe Trey Lance gets it done somewhere else. Maybe he gets it done in San Francisco. They obviously liked him enough to trade up and get him. So, hopefully he gets back healthy, and we can really see what Trey Lance is really about. Let's backtrack and talk about a couple guys I missed in my rapid fire quarterbacks, right? Let's talk about rookie quarterbacks. My guy, Kenny Pickett, right? I'm hoping, guys, but, I'm a little nervous with Kenny Pickett. So be careful where you're putting your money and how much you're spending. I hope he's the real deal, like Pittsburgh believes he is, but some of the early returns have been a little, persona non grata. So, I hope he is legit. Malik Willis out of Liberty, who's with Tennessee. I liked him in college. I don't know. I think it's going to be a few years before we really have the verdict on him. So his prices might be a little bit too high based on hype and potential right now. So it might be a hold there. The guy that I said was a bust before the draft, after the draft, and I'm still sticking to my guns, and he's kind of proven me right, even though the team is playing well. That's Zach Wilson. I don't think he's got the moxie. He's a gunslinger, throws a lot of picks, and just had his first game this year where he didn't throw more interceptions than touchdowns, and it was just one touchdown and no picks. I'm just not a Zach Wilson guy, so I definitely, I'm all out on Zach Wilson. I have very few Zach Wilsons to my name, and there's a reason for that. It's not that I don't pull any or get any. It's just I don't keep them. So be careful there. DeAndre Hopkins, receiver in Arizona. He's back after the suspension for performance-enhancing substances. You look at the track record, he's had a great career, and he's again performing well. So if he continues that trend and doesn't get in trouble again, you're looking at, a Hall of Famer easily and one of those great receivers. And we've seen receivers make strides hobby-wise and hobby-love-wise. So, his stuff is a little down right now because of what happened. So if you think this is, what you're going to get long-term and a few more years maybe in his career, and good opportunity to get in on his stuff, on the ground level. So there you go. I covered a lot of ground in about 17 minutes. Let me know if I missed anyone. Is there someone you like I didn't mention? Let me know. Maybe let me know what you disagree with. Maybe you're a Zach Wilson person and you're like, hey, man, he's going to be the real deal. He's young, John. Give him time. Let me know. I love that banter. I love that back and forth. Let me know what you think.
Check out our website at www.sportscardnationpodcast.com for the new release schedule, our blog, all show episodes, and so much more.
All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. I've always collected football cards, or I shouldn't say always, but from a very young age I got into football cards. I love the sport of football. I've coached it. I've played it. I know more people collect baseball cards than football cards. It's been that way a long time. But if you're not collecting football cards, little plea, take a look at them. It is America's pastime. It's the most popular sport now in America. Baseball won't like me saying that, but the fact is what it is. And it's more action packed. It's more fast paced. We just had a World Series where 3 games in a row they almost had 25 strikeouts, 24 strikeouts, and 21 strikeouts. Almost half the outs in the game were people swinging or missing or taking a called third strike. Pretty boring stuff, and I'm a baseball guy, and that's just boring baseball. I understand pitchers are talented. They get more spin rate, more, their curveballs fall off the table more as players get stronger. I get all the, the science of it, but half a baseball game where balls are not put in play, that's a problem. Baseball's got to figure something out. So, if you're not collecting football cards, maybe think about buying a few packs or buying your favorite player or collecting your team or whatever the case may be and kind of enter the fray, if you will. So that's going to do it. I hope everyone is safe and well, and we'll see you here very soon next Monday for another episode of Hobby Quick Hits, and we'll see you Friday for another episode of Sports Card Nation. My guest on this week's Sports Card Nation is going to be Tim Shepler of True Sports Cards, so don't miss that.